everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie and today we're going to be talking about the NCLEX. Now I know it's something that all nursing students, whether you're about to graduate or you're already in school, you're really kind of nervous about and you're not really understanding or wondering like what it's going to be about. And I know it can be very intimidating because I felt the exact same way. But as you can see from the title, I did pass in 75 questions on my first time. So I'm kind of here as like another resource to kind of help you decide how you want to study, what tools you want to study, because I know that was a thing in nursing school that we had like ATI and like so many different other resources to study from, but I found that Uworld was the best resource and I loved it so much. And I think it kind of almost in a way over prepares you so that you really know everything that you need to know and really ace that test and do really well on it. So I'm just kind of here as another resource because if you're like me, I definitely spent a lot of time on YouTube and just kind of searching nursing forums to see what was the best tool to use to study for the NCLEX. And after like the billionth Uworld YouTube video, I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to use to study with. So I'm just kind of here as another resource because I did so much research and I know that if you're like me and you just really need another person to kind of tell you what to use and what the best resource was, I'm here as another option. So I'm just gonna tell you what my 28-day plan was. I graduated nursing school on a Saturday and that next Tuesday I started studying for the NCLEX. So I just kind of want to go over what I did. I'm gonna try to put a PDF version in the description bar, but honestly I'm not sure if that's gonna work or not. But if it does, you can go ahead and just download the PDF if you want kind of a reference, and otherwise you can go ahead and shoot me an email and I'll happy to send it to you. So what I call day 0 is basically I purchased Uworld that day, and I did the one, I think it was like 135, 139, where you get the full Q bank and then you get one RN like standardized test to kind of see where you land. I didn't feel like it was necessary to get 2 of them, but I definitely wanted to have one, and I know the cheapest version doesn't give you any RN predictor test, I believe, so I just went with the one that only had 1. So basically on day 0, I kind of just wanted to familiarize myself with the different features of Uworld and really understand how to use the program so that when I actually start studying the first day, I don't have to be like, oh, what does this do? What is that? Whatever. And in order to kind of understand what I used for my plan, there's different features that I really utilized. So one of them was the notes section. Instead of taking notes on the notes section in Uworld, I kind of just took my own notes, but I definitely think it's something good to utilize if you don't want to like have it a separate place. If you want it in the same place as Uworld, like it's probably best to just use that one. But then there's one aspect which is when you see and you put it on tutor mode. So basically when you start taking the quizzes, there's going to be an option for you to take tutor mode. So basically after you answer the question, it'll tell you why the correct answer is right and why the other ones are wrong. So at the bottom of the screen, it's going to explain that to you, and that's what tutor mode is, kind of telling you what you did right and what you did wrong. So in that part, they have images where you can click on it, it'll show you description, just like a visual representation of what they're saying for certain situations and certain questions. So I really utilized that, and that's where I made my flashcards from. So we'll go over that a little bit later. But then starting with day 1. So for day 1, every single day I did 100 Uworld questions, and I divided into 4 different quizzes, 25 questions each. And of course, as you get further along in your process, it's going to start to get a lot easier, so you might end up doing more than 100 questions, but to start, I think that's a good amount because doing all the questions is intimidating. Reading all of the, explanations can be a lot and take a lot of time, so I definitely think it's good to start with 100 questions because I feel like it's more doable when you're first starting out. So what I did is I did my quizzes, I did my questions, and I read every single rationale. And I really encourage you to read every single one because even if you understand the question that you just did, why you got it right, the rationale could really help you understand maybe a future question, and maybe you would have gotten that right because you had read the rationale, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think it's definitely good to read every single one, even if you totally understand that question, you totally got it right, and you're just like, I don't need to look at it, because it will help you for something else, I promise. Okay, so for example, day one, I would write all my notes, either handwrite them or type them out, and I usually only wrote notes for things that I didn't know, because there are a lot of things on Uworld that we were not taught in nursing school, and so those concepts I definitely wrote down, and then concepts that I kind of knew but like I needed to solidify on and to kind of refer back to, I definitely took advantage and wrote notes for that. And now what I was talking about before with the flashcards, so for any image that was shown or given to us or something that I didn't know, I created flashcards for that. So when you get on there, you can add it and then add it to a flashcard. And so what I did for day one was I had all the flashcards and all the images for the quizzes that I took on day one. So I labeled it NCLEX day one. And then also when I took my notes on a separate sheet of paper, or if I did it online, not online, sorry, on Microsoft or whatever, I labeled that NCLEX notes day one. So on day one, 4 different quizzes, 25 questions each. Flashcards, NCLEX day one, notes, NCLEX day one. So once I had done all of that, let me see where I am at my notes. I took an hour break. I did nothing. I slept or watched YouTube or went on Facebook or whatever, but I didn't think about the NCLEX, because you need to give yourself that break. And if you're the type of person that like studies for 2 hours, takes a break, or goes back and forth like that, that's totally fine. For me, my brain doesn't work that way. I need to like do everything that I need to do, and once I'm done and know that I'm done mentally, then I can take a break. So that's kind of what I did. So then after I took my hour break, for 2 to 3 hours or no later than 7 p.m., I reviewed all the notes that I took and all the flashcards that I took, because all the flashcards that I made, sometimes I put notes that corresponded to the flashcards, or sometimes they were just completely separate, but at least that way I could go over them again and keep them in my head. And I didn't go over the quizzes again because that would have taken way too long, but I definitely went over the notes that I took and the flashcards that I took, because I think that's really important, especially if they're concepts that you've never heard of before. So that's what I did. After that, I had a little binder just for the NCLEX, and I just put all my notes in there, and then the flashcards are saved on Uworld. So it was saved under whatever color you want to put it under, and it was NCLEX day one. NCLEX day two, the exact same thing, 100 questions, except now you're going to label it NCLEX day two for your flashcards and NCLEX notes day two for your notes. That way everything is coincided with each other, and later on when you go back to review, you know what flashcards coincided with what notes, and it just helps you stay so much more organized instead of just having all these random notes. You don't know what day you took it, you don't remember what quiz you took it with or what flashcards went along with it, and it's just too much. This way you can stay so much more organized, because I think when you go back to look at your notes, it helps to like, because you're like, okay, I see day two. Okay, I kind of remember what questions I did on day two. Like that sort of thing. Okay, so that happened from days 1 to day 12. Same thing, just update the NCLEX notes to day 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Then on day 13, I was so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting red now just thinking about it. I was so stressed. It's not a physically demanding thing, but honestly, sitting at your chair for like 8 to 8 hours a day, it doesn't feel good. And it's very emotionally draining, because at this point, I feel like I was starting to get a lot of stuff wrong, and I would think that at this point that I was going to improve. And what I mean by that is like the scores that they give, that you get on the quizzes. So I was really frustrated at this point, and I was really not kind of keeping anything in at this point, because like I was just so ready to hurry it up and be done that I wasn't actually retaining anything at this point. So on day 13, I did nothing. I gave myself a total break the whole day. I think I went shopping or like just relaxed or just did anything, but I did not worry about the NCLEX because I need to give myself a break, emotionally, mentally, physically, because it's a lot. It's a lot. You're studying for your boards. This is like the last huddle or the last obstacle that you have to do before you become a nurse. And it's a lot. So I encourage you to take a break at least somewhere in the middle, because really I think it helped me kind of reboot and recharge to keep it moving forward. So that's what I did day 13. Days 14 through 19 is the same thing that I talked about before with day 1 through day 13. Except at this point, you've been doing it for a couple weeks now, and you're probably starting to get a little bit faster, and the rationales probably have been repeated a couple of times, so you probably don't need to write as many notes at this point. So this is kind of where I started to like do more than 100 questions, maybe like 150 or whatever, but you'll start to get a little bit faster in your routine. Okay, so by day 20, at this point, I have completed all Uworld questions. I believe there's like maybe like 2,100 and something questions. I've done all of them. So basically at this point, sorry, I don't remember what I wrote. So I took the whole day to review all the notes and all the flashcards that I have. And this is the point where you really want to have had labeled all of your notes and all of your flashcards, because going back and reviewing the flashcards from day 1 through day 19 along with the flashcards, this is really going to help you stay organized and kind of really understand the concepts and what you had taken. Because if not, you're going to have all these random notes that are just going to make sense, but they're not like super organized and put together. So this way, I think that's really important for you guys to have had, labeled it at this point. Okay. Okay, day 21. That's when I took the RN predictor test on Uworld. And that's where it basically tells you where you stand. There's no guarantee. So like, I think they had like poor, fair, likely, and very likely to pass. Just because you get a likely to pass or a very likely to pass, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to pass the real thing. But it definitely helps you kind of know where you stand, which I think is good emotionally. So the reason why I took it at this point was because if I did bad on the RN predictor test, I still had roughly a week to kind of study and kind of get some more practice in. But at the same time, if I had done very well, that would have given me more confidence and motivation to keep going through. And luckily, I was likely to pass. So that was actually very encouraging. Of course, who wouldn't want very likely to pass, but that wasn't my case. But at least it gave me motivation to know that, okay, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm on the right track, and I'm just going to keep pushing forward and just keep going. So that's what I did. Okay, so now days 22 to 24, so roughly 3 days. This is when I did only the Uworld questions that I got wrong. So when you get onto Uworld, it's going to say the amount of questions that you have, ones that you got wrong, and I think ones that were unused or something like that. And I did only the ones that I did wrong and just went over that over and over and over to see if I either remembered the rationales or to see if that I could get them right now, because I think it's important to not just do everything but go back to, especially to the wrong ones. If you have time to go back to like all of them or the right ones or whatever, great, do it, because the more you have it stuck in your head, the better. But I went to only the ones that I got wrong, and it really helped me because I'm like, okay, I'm actually remembering the rationales. Looking back at the notes really helped me, so I really encourage you to go ahead and do that. So it took me about 3 days to get through all the ones that I got wrong to see if I really understood why I got them wrong, and see if I can get them right this time. Okay, so days 25 through 27. So at this point, I've done all my notes, all my flashcards. I've gotten through all of the wrong questions. So at this point, I kind of had done everything that I could do in my power to really study for this exam. So what I did was I kind of just went back, and I totally forgot to explain this. I'm so sorry. When you get onto Uworld and you start making your quizzes, you can make them by like system or by like there's some like special specifications that you can do to make like a customized quiz, but I didn't do any of that. I just clicked everything, because on the NCLEX, it's not going to be like, all right, here are your respiratory questions and here are your cardio questions. No, it's just going to be all these random questions. So here, at least you're mimicking it as much to the NCLEX as you possibly can. And so I just clicked everything. So I went ahead and went back and clicked all of them over again and just got random questions. I've done all of them at this point, but it was just nice to kind of keep it in your head, because you just don't want to ever like let it go. And at least if you keep looking at it again, it should stick. So day 28, did nothing but relaxed. So this is the day before I took the NCLEX. And of course you're nervous, and of course I know there's a lot of people that are like, I need to study till the last possible second, and I get it. But I've read so many like reviews and forums and seen so many videos where people are like, don't do anything the day before, because you need to give yourself a break, you know, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that stuff. So I definitely think at this point, do nothing. Like maybe buy your favorite like dinner, or like go shopping, or, you know, get a massage, or just do something to kind of take your mind off, and something that will relax you so that you're ready to go the next day. So day 29, took the NCLEX, had 75 questions, kind of freaked out because I wasn't sure. That doesn't always guarantee you that you passed. But then day 31, I found out that I passed. So that really helped me. I think that that schedule and that dedication and determination really helped me to pass, because when I first started studying, I had used Uworld and I used the standards book, but to be honest, I kind of nixed the book pretty quickly, because one, it wasn't in the format of like a, you know, computerized format, so that was one less thing to kind of mimic the NCLEX, and I wanted it to be as similar to the NCLEX as possible, so I kind of got rid of it. And it was a lot of reading, and I just kind of wanted to stick to one thing, so I kind of got rid of that. So I stuck with Uworld, and I really, really loved it. I thought that the way that it was structured, the user friendliness of it, I just thought it was so great. And I really encourage everyone to at least take a look at it. Even if you don't want to buy it yet, I would recommend, if you have a friend, say, hey, can I just look at it? Because I really think that it's going to be something that, not that you enjoy to study, but like it'll be easier to get through the studying portion so that you can pass your boards and be the nurse that you want to be. And I think that when people were saying on YouTube that this is the best deal around, I definitely think it's the best deal around. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys want the PDF version, I'm going to try to put it down in the description box. I don't know if that's a thing, but if not, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'm going to put my email down below. If you have any questions about the NCLEX or about the studying process, of course I can't talk about like the NCLEX itself for Uworld and the questions and whatnot, because you have to purchase it and all that. But if you have any specific questions on how I studied, or what I used to study, or kind of like breaks or anything like that, please go ahead and send me an email. I'm kind of here as another resource. I know there's tons of YouTubers that are doing this, but I don't think one extra person can hurt. So I hope you guys have a great day, night, afternoon, whatever it may be. And remember, believe in yourself. You guys have already gone through nursing school, which is tough, especially if you're in the ABSNs, because that's what I was in. And to take a nursing program in 4 semesters instead of 6 it's a lot. And if you can make it through that, this is just another little hurdle, another little obstacle to get you to be the nurse that you want to be. And sooner or later, it's going to be kind of like that moment that you just kind of forget about. So hustle through. It's going to be a little bit painful, but at the end, it's going to be so worth it. And believe in yourself, because you guys made it this through, you know, this far in your career, and this is just one more step. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.